Hello, everybody. This is the League of Champions podcast. It's been a very, very sad week. Despite three valiant efforts, the house went 0-3.
The commish went down.
It's just been a really tough week. My playoff chances crumbled. But enough of that! Welcome to the podcast, everybody. Got a lot to get to today. We got the injury report, matchups, and our weekly awards. Let's start with the injury report. And just going to throw a name out there. You guys just give me the fantasy,
the lowdown.
Yeah, like the fantasy, what's the word I'm looking for, Mike? Help me out.
I think you're thinking
Impact.
like the fantasy, maybe
Impact.
like impact, the fantasy nerd.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of right now. So I'm going to start off with a, specific to our league. Big Ben out for 1 to 2 weeks. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's huge. Especially, it affects for sure Devengers and for sure Gigrich, who has Antonio Brown. Look at what Antonio Brown did this week with Big Ben. You can't expect a 30 out of him. And then for Devengers, losing Big Ben when he needed to start him, ideally because Phillip Rivers is out next week with the bye.
All right, Ty, do you have anything?
So I was trying to look at Devengers, the rest of his lineup, and yeah, I don't know he's gonna have to pick up somebody to start next week. Is that correct?
Yep, Phillip Rivers is on a bye next week for him.
And then Malcolm Floyd went down too.
Yeah, that's another one I'm gonna throw out. Malcolm Floyd. Not sure what the extent of the injury is. It just looked pretty bad when he went down. I guess my 2 cents on this is that Gary just gave away James Jones for free, basically, if this is a very serious injury.
Shoulder injury for
Well, and to go off that too, Malcolm Floyd, he might be out, who knows, maybe the rest of the season, but James Jones, obviously the past couple weeks, he hasn't been playing exceptional, but now he's going to start playing some not as good teams like the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks he had some very tough matchups with Denver and Carolina.
And one more quick thing, just last thing on Floyd. I know the second half of the game he was in, he wasn't even in pads, he was in street clothes, so it looks serious right now, so more to come tomorrow.
All right. Well, I guess those the last couple here. Probably the biggest injury of the week probably would be when Dion Lewis. So I know Ty is not as high on as I am, but
it wasn't Nick Folk?
No, it was Dion Lewis. Nick Folk isn't actually out 4 to 6 weeks, in case anyone was wondering. But Dion Lewis out for the year with a torn ACL. Been the model of consistency this year when he's been healthy. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think with him he's like your, what is the word, prototypical flex player.
Kind of an NFL-style flex.
Flex player. Yeah. He's going to get you the receiving, he's going to get you the rushing. With the flex, you want almost like a guy that's make or break, but he's been make every
week that he's been healthy. He had a couple weeks where I think he put up 3 when then he got hurt, and then he didn't play the week after.
Which my only downfall with that, it's not, I didn't say he wasn't getting enough points. Him being out's big, and I feel like Garrett Blunt's just gonna take on all the role now. He's gonna be flex back, running back, whatever. So, a lot of people are gunning for who's the backup? That's always kind of the trend. Who's the next up? And maybe they're not. Maybe they're just gonna leave that role unfilled. And just try other things. But obviously, a valid point would be pick up the next guy up. And maybe he'll just fill that role. But, I wasn't so high on it, and I never am. I'm maybe he's not going to,
Well, and as far as that would affect the team in our league, Team Chuba.
Well, and now it's my last injury on the list is Lat Murray, who would replace him, but he has a concussion. It could be anywhere from 1 to
we've seen
2 weeks, or maybe he may not miss any time at all.
Yeah.
We have no idea, so that's just kind of up in the air at this point.
Yeah.
That wraps up the injury report. So I guess we'll just move on to the matchups that happened this week. As I said before, didn't have a very strong showing out of the Fancato house over here, but that's okay. Move on to the next week, right, boys?
We bounced back.
When I was looking at my score tonight, I'm actually in a ping pong league, so I wasn't able to watch the game tonight. But it looked like my boy Elshawn had. He almost brought me back, but
Well, and that's what I was pointing out to Ben.
He got stuck twice like within the 5-yard line.
Once at the 1. So 2 touchdowns there, and it's
one thing that did help. I don't remember who the corner was on him, but was shutting him down like in the first quarter. But then he got hurt, and after that, Jeffrey just started.
Went off in a second. I don't know with the matchups. Which one stood out to you guys?
The Easy Money Stadium. It was. It was definitely that pickup. I mean, he would have won
anyway, but
but D'Angelo Williams, gave I mean, I just want to quickly check it. Yeah, Woodhead's kind of off and on, so I guess he hit him on a good week.
He would have had to start Starks, who still would have put up big, but that's what I said going in. What did I say? D'Angelo Williams is a must start in every league you have him. He is a very good running back in that system he's in. They give him the ball all the time. Like we said, Swanson and Rhino missed out.
Especially Swanson. I guess the match at the start that pushed my interest was, Swanson versus Garrity. Swanson pulled off the upset like I called in my newsletter, which I did go 5-0 in, may I add. So read it because you know it's right. But Swanson. What's the point total he put up this week?
96.
96.
I'm just saying, but that might be his highest.
No, he put up 100 in week 2 or something like that. But I'm just saying, okay, if he takes out Terrence Williams in that line and puts D'Angelo Williams in the flex, the guy could have put up over 120.
Yeah.
And that's a consistent.
Well, okay, look at his team. If he had D'Angelo Williams, Manning, AP, McFadden, Marshall, Cooks, Witten, Williams. That's
the only weakness of the team is Witten. That's pretty much it. You don't really have much else.
But he missed out. So, but yeah, that matchup to me too was one that was wow. We all kind of called it. He caught Garrity Devengers on
probably the worst week he's gonna have. Doug Martin didn't do anything at all, and he was probably the one the one offensive weapon I kind of you kind of expect to do good every week, and he just didn't do it. He just put he didn't get many carries in the second half because he was just playing so bad. He lost a fumble
and then Phillip Rivers didn't have a Phillip Rivers week this week.
Phillip Rivers is another thing. Do you guys think his stock's going to drop with everyone
dropping on his team? Virtually.
Well, pretty his whole team's falling off. They were just talking about this during the game. He his whole line's hurt. He just lost apparently Malcolm Floyd against your number 1 receiver is Stevie Johnson. Mm-hmm. They only have 3 receivers on the team right now, and just Antonio Gates, and he has no running game either. So, do you think his stock drops?
Yeah, I think that's. I think it was just. Pointed out perfectly in the game. If you watch the game, you could tell. Without Keenan Allen, Antonio Gates has been banged up.
Yeah.
Now Malcolm Floyd. Yeah, I think his stock drops immensely, and then Big Ben's been banged up all year. Just like last week when we were talking about it, Devengers looked like he had the most almost depth at quarterback other than maybe T-Money Nation. Now it looks like he has no
depth at all because, and I don't know if he was looking to trade Big Ben, but I think with this other injury that takes away any.
Well, and true. I'm still up for a trade. So I guess if you're listening, I have Cam Newton, Carson Palmer, so and I can't play them both. So
especially those teams that need I guess maybe Garrity will giving you a call because he needs a quarterback.
Yeah, and it's I don't know why they keep I know they just want to go from pickups and hope that pays off. But if you want, a sound team, you're going to kind of have to stack at every position. 1 or 2 good guys, because just one guy, if he goes down, especially this year, it's an injury-filled year.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have anybody to back him up. And just for my matchup that I thought was going to be good, and it kind of lived up to the hype, as Team Champ Daddy and Show Me the Money. And before in our preview for Week 9 on Thursday, I said that it would hinge on kind of Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers had a massive game, however, Derek Carr did too, so that kind of canceled out. And then Team Champ Daddy
got nothing out of his back end of his lineup, his receivers,
which I said too. But Probably personally would have started T.Y. Hilton. I mean, I don't think that.
The one with that T.Y. Yeah, Michael's time
what did you think? Okay, so he has the late game. The whole week leading up, even at noon, they were like, T.Y. Hilton, no way.
Yeah, like there was like no chance
to play. And then all of a sudden he's out there and he puts up 80 yards. And I was watching that matchup closely too because I was like, I had talked to Team Champ Daddy, we're pretty close.
Oh, really?
We were talking going into the matchup, like, he's like, no, I think, I'm going to stick with these guys just because if T.Y. Hilton doesn't play, I don't know who I would plug in. Well, I was looking at it, and about 9 o'clock last night, if he would have had T.Y. Hilton in, he would have had the win until that touchdown by Dez Bryant, which
honestly was complete crap.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like you guys didn't see the game. Dez Bryant caught like a Hail Mary pass in the third quarter for a touchdown. It was a great grab. Kind of a little lucky, but hey, that's fantasy.
No, wait, not as lucky as...
So my boy Delaney Walker, I got to give a shout out to him. 61-yard touchdown, probably the luck.
See, no, that's luck. Whereas this one, they threw it up, and it was in a group of people, and...
Everyone kind of fell over, and Dez is just like...
obviously, Dez
right there.
It was like a stud play versus a luck play, but...
But that's what the majority of fans.
Delaney
Walker, and I'm gonna give another shout out to the Giants defense on that great fumble recovery for a touchdown at the end of the game. But we both fell short, so neither of them really helped.
Yeah.
So I guess.
I guess I'm still really high on Team Show Me the Money. Like
he is a very.
Well, look, Calvin Johnson comes back for him.
But like now the problem he's gonna have is like he has so many receivers like. He's going to have to, choose a little bit.
Because Martavis
and to top it off, too, he has my boy Gary Barnidge, who also, he didn't have a good week, but okay, this is one bad week out of...
Yeah, and McCollum will be back eventually.
Yeah, and McCollum loves Barnidge, so you have a great tight end, you have good running back, or great running back.
Yeah, he has great running back depth behind that.
Your quarterback started to step up. Julian Edelman, I love him as a receiver. Dez Bryant, awesome, you'll step it up. Calvin Johnson, to be honest, this is the team I think could win it all. I mean, obviously he'll probably make the playoffs.
The only thing I could see is if he gets kind of unlucky and loses a couple of games, just because he is only 5-4. But that's like the only thing I could see slowing him down.
I just want to check out what. So he's in. Oh, okay. So he's in the South and.
Well, that's what I was looking at the playoffs. So the teams won't change that made it that the bracket, the projected playoff bracket right now won't change for the teams that were in and out going into this week. Just the order will kind of shift around. Now, Show Me the Money will be up to 4. Easy Money, myself, will fall to 6. Stadium will be at 5. So that didn't really jump around, but... Yeah, I agree with you. Team Show Me the Money's putting himself in a very good position.
But also Team Stadium, and they're both, obviously it doesn't matter what division they're in, but I think it's going to be a fight for the top spot in that division, because, they're both... They
both have a position to get in, but that number 1 seed is really going to help.
Well, and who wants that bye, too, because whoever gets the 1 seed in the South will get the bye in the first
Whereas I feel like Devender, his stock is slowly starting to fall a little bit, and I think Stadium and Show Me the Money are starting to rise a little more. And I think their teams are aligning. I think Devender.
And I like too how the schedule lined up. Stadium plays week 12. Team Show Me the Money week 13. Team Chuba.
Yeah.
So he's got tough road, but
tough road for sure.
Tough road, but if he can get through that, then because he's only 2 games back, so that might if he won out, he could, maybe take the division
for sure. He's setting himself up to put himself in a good.
Well, especially he's got another he put up 136, and he still has Marshawn Lynch and didn't play this week.
Yeah, so he's gonna not run into that problem where who to start. I mean, it's a good problem to run into if you have too many good players.
But it's also Travis Benjamin starting to drop off a little bit, so you can just insert him right into his flex.
Run of the running back.
Right into his flex.
And honestly, it seems like every time Marshawn Lynch come playoff time in the NFL season, come late season, and then he starts.
Well, I think especially after this bye week, I think the Hawks are going to start to figure themselves out.
For sure, they'll be.
Well, and
revamped.
it's look at how many guys stayed him at on bye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's if you can win, that well with all the guys on bye.
In one thing, he only starts 1 of the 5.
Yeah.
Though, but still, that's pretty impressive.
What do you think about those Oakland Raider that tandem. We kind of touched on it a little bit before.
I'm just gonna say I called it. They both got a touchdown. Crabtree went off. I did say this earlier to Ty. I think the one reason why Crabtree is starting to play, and I think me and Mike have taught this before in the past, Crabtree's in a contract year.
Yeah.
And they've said before, you want to draft the people who are in a contract year because they're playing for money, basically.
And if you do look at the stats, like, I mean, we don't have them right here, but the players that are in a contract year,
like Doug Martin's a perfect example. I mean, he had a bad week this week.
They come up with big years, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, and two, it's just like the only downfall with his that tandem in Oakland,
if they run
receivers, it's like if they run into a good team, then
that's what I was looking at. I was like, do they play Denver twice this year? I know they're in the same. I know they only play Denver one more time.
But yeah, they play Denver. I mean, look at like just like looking ahead, like they play Minnesota, pretty good secondary. Detroit and Tennessee and Kansas City, that's pretty bad matchup.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good matchup.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's just kind of like the stock market. If you have like a stock in just one company, it goes on. I mean, you could do really great with that company, but if it goes under, then you're screwed. But if you like diversify it, like put one here, one there, even if one has a bad game, the other one still can do good.
Yeah, I think that's what he's thinking. Like that's like the one thing that could but because he has so good running backs, that kind of helps to like even that out. If it were to happen, it didn't happen this week.
That's what I was going to say. Like his running back play could almost pick up for it if they have a down week. But if they have a week like this, almost every week, his team's almost unstoppable.
Yeah.
And I mean, a pretty decent quarterback. He's
Andy Dalton's having a career year,
putting out some points, and Gronk,
didn't really put up anything. He's still up 136. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and then I was also the matchup that we kind of like under the radar too. I mean, we kind of all assumed it coming. Bossman Jr. handled
the Rhino wreckage, and it's pretty. I don't want to say it's like sad because it's like not his like fault. It's just like his team's been riddled with injuries. And,
that's what I was thinking to ask too. You two, who do you think's been hit the hardest in the league?
I have to say it's you, then Rhino. I mean, like Rhino's lost, Keenan Allen and Jamal Charles. So it's honestly really close. But like you've lost Steve Smith. Arian Foster was a big one. LaShawn McCoy hasn't been healthy this year.
Mm-hmm.
Tevin Coleman, people don't think about this, but if he wouldn't have gotten injured, Devontae Freeman would not be even starting still.
That's a huge one there too. That's what is overlooked. Like I had a lot of depth at the start of the year. Then you look at it now, it's like I'm just itching to get scratching to get by.
But too, it's like you took a risk with getting
Foster,
because he is the most. I think he's one of the most injury-prone players.
He's the most injury-prone player in the league.
That's what you get. Like you waited on him. I took him early too. It's my fault. Like I drafted him round 6, 7 when he should have probably went 10. He was hurt, so that's kind of.
I think we drafted him earlier. I remember, but he seems to find a new injury every year. This year with the Achilles. Other years it's been groin. Yeah. Well, I guess the last matchup we haven't touched on at all is just my matchup. Not much to say about that. Another week where I put close to 100, don't get the win. Just the way the year's been going. Congrats to Chuba. He's got a hell of a good team. And we'll just move on from there to our week.
Well, and to say one more thing, you lost by 22. So, even though you did put close to 100, look at how many people in the league put up 100.
This was a big scoring,
1, 2, 3,
scoring
4,
week.
5, 6, 7. So
I think there was a 98, 96 too, or
so
something. So
over half the league put up 100. So it's not one of those weeks.
Well, I know. I'm just saying.
You just can't be I put up close to 100, but it's you would have lost to half the league.
Well, yeah, this week's a lot different because it was a high scoring week. I'll say that.
And yes. I just feel like the scores in the NFL games this week were a lot higher as well.
For sure,
well, people, I just remember the whole league calling it Oakland, Pittsburgh. There's going to be
70 points,
and there was
Green Bay, Carolina, big game for points.
Denver and Colts were a lot more high scoring than I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm. You knew the Patriots were going to.
Eagles and Dallas even were high scoring.
Yeah.
So I guess this is a week you kind of just get to your bunker and just close your eyes and hope things don't happen because it's just anything anybody could score, everything's chaotic.
It was defense took a break this week.
That is crazy because you look at the league. Yeah, usually you're if I put up 100, I'm usually good. Okay,
not this week.
There were 7 teams that put up 99 and 96. There's most of the league put up over over 100 or close to 100. If you got lucky, I mean, you would have been against Rhino, but Bossman Jr. put up 108.53.
Or like one of like the vendors in Team Swanson, really the other two, and then you.
Yeah, it was a high, it was a high-scoring week in the NFL, which makes it fun to watch, honestly, because there's matchups. I love to watch those matchups where it's like one team jumps out ahead, then the next team comes
for sure.
back.
I mean, the Vikings got the win this week, but that was a pretty boring game, so it was nice to split back and forth. Like the Oakland and Pittsburgh game was one of the best games I think I've watched this year.
For sure.
Or maybe
and I'm just looking at gazing at the the projections, but I mean they're not up to date for this upcoming week. But let's see. So Age of Garrotron and Chuba, are they going to both stay in their spot?
Nope. So I believe it is. Chuba will jump ahead of Age. Yep.
So
Age will stay at 2.
Stay at 2 because Gigrich did win. Is Gigrich now 7? No.
No, he has 2 losses.
Yeah. So. No,
but I think Garrity beat Gigrich, didn't he?
Nope. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Yep, they're in the same division, but Devengers has a better record than him, so he'll be the 2 seed. Chuba will be the number 1 overall seed.
Okay.
Gigrich will stay at
Age
3.
of Garrotron will be 2.
Yep, with a 7-2 record.
And then who's the last 3 teams in?
So so it'll stay the same. I believe it's Show Me the Money, right? Correct. He's 5-4 now.
Yep.
Yep. So he's put up the most amount of points, which we changed that tiebreaker to points now. Then 5 will be Team Statham.
Yep.
He's put up more points than me, filling the way at 5-4. Then there are Bossman Jr., Team Swanson actually just both improved to 4-5, so
they're in the hunt.
One game back. And then Team Champ Daddy fell to 3-6 as well as you, Team Money Nation 3-6.
And then there's me just sitting out
2-7. So no one is officially
out yet.
Oh, and Rhino Wreckage also 3-6. We've had some indication that it seems like he might have thrown in the towel.
Yeah, it just seems like he's just.
Well, especially like when he started 3 people to put up 0.
No one is officially eliminated, so everyone can keep their hopes up. Also, I would like to remind everyone, if you are in the constellation bracket, you will be
playing for money.
You'll be playing for money.
So
there's really no reason to stop picking up or anything.
Yeah, for sure.
With that.
And I guess we'll just, you guys want to move on to our weekly awards.
So transition.
All right.
Awards.
So our first one's gonna be MVP, just our personal who we thought the MVP of the week was.
Player or team?
Player. Mine's gonna be this week is gonna be Antonio Brown. It was not that close of a game. I don't believe. It was a 10-point game. I think. Did you lose by 10? About 10?
Yeah.
I mean, and
13.
It was an absolutely insane game. I haven't seen a 30-point game without that down of a performance out of a receiver since Calvin Johnson 2013 when he put up 300 yards and a touchdown. This absolutely insane game. Carried that offense. This proved that with Big Ben the lineup, Antonio Brown's the best receiver in the league. I think he's better than Julio and Odell, all of them.
Wait, did we get a number on his targets from the game?
I'm looking up right now.
I mean, 17 receptions,
catches.
you have to assume he had at least 20 targets.
And the crazy thing is he put up 30 and he fumbled the ball once. I mean, well, I guess you're kind of expected to fumble the ball when you're
touching the ball 20, but yeah.
Mike, who was your...
Yep, as far as my MVP, I kind of like the cliche pick. I was talking to Ben before. I was like, D'Angelo Williams, I mean, the guy... Yeah. There's not really much explaining there. I mean...
But 36 is not too shabby at all.
You can argue.
Not bad for a 32-year-old.
With that, what about you, Ty?
Did you find that stat?
23 targets for Antonio Brown. That's pretty.
I think that might be the top of the year. The most, I think.
Yeah, that's the most. That was more than Odell's record last year. Who I think he had the most targets.
So just like you said,
21.
I'm referring back to that newsletter. He got his boyfriend back, Big Ben.
But now he's gone.
But I'm
gonna point out one thing. He's only gonna be gone a week. Because at least 1 week, and they said 1 or 2 weeks, but the second week's a bye.
So fantasy owners don't have to worry.
Don't have to worry too much about it. I mean, Antonio Brown may not do much this week, but Ty, who's your MVP?
For me, I like Tyler Eifert this week. He is, this whole year he's had 3 weeks of 20 or over, and I mean, it kind of propelled Chuba to the victory. I mean, if he would have had, a really small week, maybe 1 point, he might have lost.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of pivotal, and he scored 3 touchdowns, 53 yards.
I think it also helped that it was on Thursday night, so it was like
5
you had to
receptions.
almost you're looking up like
the entire game. You're like, I just need to get over that big day.
At the start, I did, but
yeah, and that's
much to overcome.
That's one of my stars of the week, and then also Derek Carr. I know he's been putting up big weeks, but he just each week he just amazes me more and more how much he's coming on and coming into his own. So he's another one of my stars.
All right, well, on to the next. I guess it's an award. It's the dud of the week.
And I want to start with this one because this guy's really been angering me the whole season, to be honest. Is Eddie Lacy, -1 points this week.
Mm-hmm.
Not a solid performance at all. It's like I don't know. I don't. His line hasn't changed this year so far. So I'm like, what has changed about his game?
It's so strange, and like I know
whereas like when Starks touches the ball, he like flies through those holes and gets yards. But when Lacy touches it, he just looks fat and slow.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that. Like he looks like slower than.
He literally can't fit through the hole. So I had the second pick this year in the draft, and I was contemplating between him and AP. And I'm just going to tell y'all, never again will I pick Eddie Lacy as the number 2 pick overall. So if any of you all are in that position, don't go for Lacy, even though, might be a hardcore Packer fan. Never go with Lacy. Go with AP all day, every day.
Oh, hey, I appreciate that. Michael, on to you, bud.
I was actually going to go with the Lacy pick, but I had a couple other options in mind. That's what I was looking at. No, I was going to say defenses around the league, but no, I'm going with Ronnie Hillman for sure. He put up a 0. I mean, Rhino Wreckage starting both those Denver running backs again. And then stupid. You're kind of thinking like Ronnie Hillman, 2 out of the last 3 weeks he's had over double digits.
Well, especially against Indianapolis. In fact, I think did like CJ Anderson had like 3.
They combined for 3 total.
That's
Ronnie
pretty
Hillman
sad.
0. So yeah, that's Ronnie Hillman my dud of the week.
I'm going back and forth on this like dud thing. I think I'm just gonna go with Gronk. I mean, he put up 4.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess, like, CS Stadium didn't need it, but it's probably...
But, like, in general, where, like, if you're not looking, at the dud of just our league, Gronk, I mean, that's not a Gronk week at all. And, like, I'm against Washington.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty middle of the road on defense. I mean, but Gronk's untouchable.
And just so you know, guys, if you get a chance to get Gronk in the first or second round, go for him.
Yeah, we all passed up on him, and it was probably the stupidest.
9 times out of 10, he's going to have a good week. It was just this week he had a bad week. Unlike Lacy, he was just having a bad season.
All right. And then our last thing, surprise of the week, and the one stipulation we are putting in this, it has to be someone who is owned. It can't be someone who's not owned just because there's going to be a random who goes off one week that probably won't be owned. So we're going to start with Mike since it's his turn to start.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with someone that I formerly owned. He's owned by another team in our league, Delaney Walker. Because throughout the whole year, I think those were his second and third touchdown grabs of the season. And it's what I was thinking about Delaney Walker. He gets the looks. He gets the yardage. He just never gets the touchdowns. And then that came through this week. And I think you kind of got a glimpse of what he could be. Just inconsistent play at quarterback for Tennessee limits him, but he's a good player if you watch. He runs very good routes. He's not very fast. He's not too flashy. He just runs very good routes, gets open, great hands. Put up 23 this week. Like, if he can score touchdowns, he would be very more consistent. The yardage is always there, but that's my kind of surprise of the week.
All right. My surprise of the week, I wasn't started this weekend, was Sammy Watkins. I guess it's just another weapon that Garrity gets. I'm going to call Pat out on this. I have no idea why you dropped him. I don't know what you dropped him for, but you dropped him. I have no idea why you dropped him. He put up 168 yards, I believe. I think Tyrod Taylor threw about like 100
I believe.
Like 100
Charles Clay at 6, and then LaShawn McCoy at 7.
And the rest went to Sammy.
Yep. Kind of a crazy stat line if you look at it.
And I mean, Tyrod only threw 12 passes all game.
Yeah, and was it 10 receptions?
11 No, it was 9 receptions.
9 receptions out of the 12 passes he threw.
He completed 11. Yeah. So, yeah, that's my surprise of the week.
My surprise of the week, I mean, it's like, for me as a, sportscaster, I kind of want to mix it up because, everybody's surprised. It's like somebody, you always hear about. But for me, this week I want to go with Eric Decker. He put up 13 points, a touchdown. I played him in my flex spot. He almost had 80 yards. And I think this is, I think he's actually a pretty good flex player.
Yeah,
I know that Brandon Marshall, but he's kind of hit or miss or whatnot, up and down. I know kind of last week he was kind of banged up or whatnot. But it's like, I'll take that. I'll take that in my flex role every week. 13 points. And I don't need a 30 points in my flex role. If I could get that, that would be great. But I think Eric Decker fills that role well. And I just feel like last year he didn't have much production with the Jets, but this year maybe it was because of his wife Jessie James Decker kind of whining to the publicity in New York. But he's starting to get some more targets. Maybe Fitzpatrick likes him a little bit. So he was my kind of surprise of the week, and I hope he continues with these stats.
Okay. Do we have anything else to add on any of that at all?
No.
Just so you all know out there, on Thursday we have our kind of pre-week talk, and we're going to be bringing in Garretron. He's going to maybe talk to us for 10 minutes. We're going to ask him a few questions, kind of get his input, and we're going to try to do that as the season rolls on. Maybe call in someone each week or every other week or something like that.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get the rest of the league's perspective. I mean, it's nice hearing our voices. However, it's kind of cool if we bring in someone new, like bi-weekly or each week.
And I was going to touch on that at the end, and also with the NFL doing a little tribute to the troops, we're going to be doing a little tribute to the troops. I want to give a big shout out to Ty. Thank you for your service, buddy.
Thank you.
And thanks to Garrity. Well, we'll say thank you to him in person, but he'll be on Thursday. He also served in the military. So, yeah, I guess we're going to go into Pretender and Contender to wrap her up.
Just to wrap it up real quick here. So, we don't really have too many, honestly, teams in our league. There's just 12 compared to the
3, 2.
NFL. But
We'll be okay.
For the Contender or Pretender, it's a pretty easy game we have here. We just throw out a team you're pretty much going to give if there's a Contender or Pretender for this league.
Okay.
All right.
So pretty simple. We're going to start from the top in the north. We got the Avengers, Age of Garretron, Ben.
Contender. I think his team's slipping a little bit, but he's won enough games to the point where he is, in that position to possibly get a bye, and you can get in the playoffs, you can win.
I'm going to say a word for Avengers. Top contender. I'm going to throw him up there. You've kind of been slacking these few weeks, but Garrity, we know you can pick it up, and we have faith in you, buddy.
Yep, and not really too much to add. Contender guaranteed. Quickly then, your Team Gigrich in the north, 5-3, going to move to 6-3 now.
I'm Contender, especially with Deion Lewis going down. That was just one, I think, blemish on his team was his running backs are not. Don't jump out at you at all, but with Deion Lewis going down, the Garrett Blunt's going to step up, and I think that just completes his team completely.
Contender for sure. I don't think he'll win the championship this year, but he'll definitely, give the playoffs a good look.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Let's make it Contender means they could gun for the, we thinking gunning for the championship.
Yeah, for championship. Yeah, of course.
Pretenders kind of, they're there, but because everyone's still in contention.
Yeah.
So a Contender for Gigrich, myself, going for that Contender. Okay, so now me, easy money, 5-3, moving to 5-4. Be easy on me.
Pretender. I'm the reason why is because your team's just been destroyed by injuries. You don't really have a LaShawn McCoy's your best player, but he can't stay on the field. It's just nothing's really going your way, and you just don't have a guy who can put up 20 plus a week.
Pretender as well. You just don't have that firepower that's needed to go all the way. I don't know if you'll even make the playoffs. It's kind of harsh. But this might be a down year for you, buddy, and let's start preparing for next year. Yeah,
that's what team completely decimated by injury. If I could sneak into the playoffs, that's kind of the goal of the season. Team Chab Taddy, just let's whip around these last.
I'm gonna go Pretender. He just does not have enough behind those running backs and that quarterback. Definitely
Pretender. Even with Aaron Rodgers, I know he's gonna come on, just not enough. Like I said, firepower.
Yep, Pretender for me as well. Rhino Wreckage.
Complete pretender. He won't make the playoffs.
I say Auda. I just feel like he's given up.
Ryan are probably worst team in the league right now. Pretender. Suicide Squad.
I'm a pretender. I dug way too big of a hole. I can't even make the playoffs.
Out.
I think pretender. I think that Suicide Squad is not as bad as the record shows.
I'm gonna say one word. Fringe of being kicked out of the league.
I'm
kidding.
Okay, I'll take that. Even I've outscored both of these hooligans. I don't really care.
Okay, to the South now. We got Team Chuba 7-2.
Complete contender. He showed this week. Put up 120 with a really huge performance in Devontae Freeman. Very deep team.
Contender. I think he's going to compete with the Avengers for the title. Possibly, or at least the Final Four, but I'm hoping he gets to the championship.
Yep, I think contender. I think the only way this team loses is if he's got an off week by everyone. Where the team Show Me the Money will improve to 5-4 after this week.
What was it?
Team Show Me the Money. No, you're totally fine.
Team
Show Me the Money.
5-4. Contender, very deep team all around. Definitely can make a run for the championship. I think he's the most dangerous team in the league. Right now.
Contender for sure. I think he will be in the championship too if he can knock out Chuba, and I think he'll take on Avengers and hopefully knock him off.
Yeah, I'm gonna say contender, and this is kind of weird, like how this league's gone, and like how one injury to the Avengers team, kind of possibly two now with Big Ben, from Le'Veon Bell to Big Ben. I think Team Show Me Money is my favorite. Team Stadium 5-4. We kind of touched on Stadium a lot today.
Another contender. I mean, I don't pick him a lot, but he definitely is with that D'Angelo Williams pickup. Best pickup of the whole year by far.
Same with me, a contender, hardcore contender. I think he'll be able to make a run for the title as well. I think Show Me the Money, Stadium, Chuba, and Defenders all have a shot at the title, so definite contender.
Yeah, Stadium, I'm going contender. I'm still a little sorry about that loss that he just threw out to me, so I'm not too high on his team yet. Bossman Jr. now, I think he's an interesting one. I think he's 4-5.
I'm gonna say pretender just because after Drew Brees, he just doesn't have enough after Drew Brees. And Drew Brees is on fire right now, but I don't think one single player can carry you to a championship.
Same here, pretender. Drew Brees, he's going to fall off the cliff pretty soon here, whether you want to believe it or not. 62-38. And before that, 15-18. I think he's going to go back to the 15-18.
I'm going to disagree with both you. For Boston Jr., I'm going contender.
Whoa.
Well, I'm just saying.
Who's it going to hinge on, bud?
It's hinging on Matt Forte coming back and the Cincinnati running backs figuring their stuff out. I just think contender because I think as sad and like bad as mad as this makes me say, like I think that's the team that could beat me out right now. There's like if you look at it, there's about 7 teams fighting for 6 spots.
Yeah.
And that's the team I think that could. His team's kind of on the rise just with Drew Brees and that, I mean, as weird as it sounds, like Benjamin Watson at tight end. Like,
yeah.
They were capable of giving him a 60 every week, so that's a contender for
I'll
me.
just throw one more thing on that. He can win if the Bengals figure out who the starter is. If they don't, I don't give much of a shot.
So Team Money Nation falling to now 3-6, contender, pretender.
I'm gonna just say pretender just because he's dug too big of a hole. If you could get just the one thing I think the biggest blemish on his team, he has no consistency with his running backs, and that's his biggest downfall.
Yeah, pretender. If the running backs step it up, maybe there'd be a shot, but I don't see that. Like, okay, if it hasn't happened after week 9, I don't think it's going to happen the rest of the season.
Okay, I'd say pretender, but there's a shot at the playoffs. It's a long shot. What quickly here? What do you think? How many wins to get in the playoffs at a wild card?
I'd say a 6-win team's gonna make the playoffs.
7.
I say 7.
So I'd have to win out pretty much.
And then finally, Team Swanson, who's now 4-5. He's put himself in a position where he can compete.
Pretender, only because he, since week 2, he hasn't put up over 100, and the way the league's going right now, he can't put up the points.
I'm going to say contender because he's high in the waiver wire. So if he utilizes that order,
I'm going pretender due to the fact that sometimes he needs reminders to start guys.
Yeah, I had to remind him to start the Chargers D-man. You owe me one.
That wedding's really hinging on Team Swanson making it or
Dude,
breaking
you need the wedding money.
Yeah,
Win the
come
league.
on, buddy.
That could.
I don't know how much we win. Like two grand.
Winners
2 grand.
taking $225 this year.
$225,000, man. I could pay for a whole wedding. All right, but well, are we all wrapped up here?
I think final thoughts. Anyone? I'm pretty good.
I love America.
I don't know. I think we've kind of wrapped it up, and we'll be back to you guys on Thursday evening after the Thursday night football game. So I hope you guys have a good rest of the week.
Yep. Any questions?
And God bless the USA.
Yeah, God bless the USA. I love this country. See y'all later.